What y'all listening to?
Limelight Highlight Podcast.
And welcome back to the show. I hope everybody had a great weekend. The last two episodes were from the weekend that I went to Philly for the Black Gives Back event that I'm sure you all heard on the previous episode. I meant to have more interview episodes while I was out there in Philly, but due to technical difficulties that I'm sure you guys heard on the podcast, it's time to put up some serious money for some dope mics that I did some research on. So stay tuned for that. As you know, the last couple podcasts were different than your usual scheduled program, so I haven't been able to really share with you the stories that listeners and followers of the podcast have been sending me. So this episode will be dedicated to some of my favorite good news stories that I've come across and that I've received over the last 2 weeks. But before we get into that, as always, we have some upcoming events. August 24th is the Block to School Drive for this kid's going back to school, where I have the honor of being the headlining sponsor for our favorite nonprofit organization, The Block Gives Back. They'll be giving away 250 school bags filled with supplies just in time for the kids to get back to school. There's a bunch of different Dropbox locations if you're interested in Philly and you want to donate. I'll list all the spots where these boxes are located in the show notes, or you can go visit theblockgivesback.org, or you can go on their Facebook page, and all of that information is there as well. And if you need more incentive to donate, Jack Costellon Boxing Club, you know, those guys that are on the previous podcast, they'll be collecting supplies as well. And if you donate 3 or more items, you get 1 entry to win an autographed Mike Tyson boxing glove with a certificate of authenticity. So swing by Monday through Thursday from 5 to 7. And if you can't make it down there, they'll even help make arrangements to pick up the donation. So you really don't have an excuse to not get involved. And of course, there are still tickets available for September 15th, Baby Soup Brunch, a women's empowerment mixer to get the ladies motivated and involved, and maybe even inspired to get the ball rolling on some good goals that you guys may have thought of, or you ladies may have thought of pursuing. So be sure to visit thequeencorner.com to get your tickets and more information about the event. Now, on to the show. As I said before, there's been a few listeners and followers on the podcast that have been sending me some stories, but before we get into that, there was actually one story I wanted to discuss really quick. It's growing up, I got really into Legos. I don't know about any of you, but I used to collect them. I used to, follow the instructions, build a ton of spaceships or whatever my brain could imagine, especially after building whatever the directions told me to build. So this story brings me joy and makes me extremely proud to still be a huge Lego supporter. The title is Lego Going Hemp. Now, many people get hemp confused with weed. Hemp is a strain of the plant species that's grown specifically for its heavy fiber properties. It's one of the fastest growing plants and was one of the first plants to be spun into usable fiber over 10,000 years ago. Little fact there for you guys. The best of all, hemp is biodegradable. Lego's planning on moving forward and towards using hemp by 2030 because Lego's been around for years and the material they've been using is like an oil-based plastic. So it's pretty obvious that they have their fair share of blame when it comes to plastic waste and being scrutinized for using plastic. And for those reasons, Lego's actually committed to finding a better alternative. So there's actually this company named Zeoform, and they've been working towards the advancements of using hemp to replace a ton of things that we use that aren't really that environmentally friendly, like buttons or straws, or to home furniture and frisbees, and now literal building blocks. So best of all, like I said before, the material is non-toxic, it's biodegradable, and with the amount of things that they can make from hemp, they're getting more people involved, like big companies and stuff like that. People are really starting to catch on, and it's more what's the word? I think it's more affordable, like longevity wise. So the Lego company's coming up on being in business for almost 60 years, and all of that was built with plastic. So they're investing millions to get rid of all their plastic and switch over to hemp by 2030. And best news is that it's, like I said, more cost effective, and the hemp blocks will be so identical to the plastic ones you won't really even be able to tell. So shout out for Lego for trying to work in a better direction. So that was one story I really wanted to share with you guys. But this story comes from Bro Campo. Is Chris Ocampo. I actually knew this guy back when I was in high school. I used to work with him at a valet parking place. But I thought this was pretty dope as far as timing goes, because it's August and preseason football is upon us. So go Birds. But this story is actually about a Browns player, Damon Sheesh Giuseppe. I hope I said his name right. But he was a walk-on turned NJCAA All-American returner at Phoenix College. He dropped out to pursue FBS offers, but was eventually left without college options. He trained for 2 years in an attempt at making the NFL, and in April, he was sleeping outside a Miami gym and talked his way into a workout with the Browns. Last Thursday, he scored his first ever touchdown with the Browns in their first NFL preseason game. So talk about an inspiring story, and shout out to Chris Ocampo for sharing that amazing story, because stuff like that definitely needs to be heard. I got a couple other quick ones before we go. Precious, she shared with us a good news fact. In the Philippines, they broke a world record after planting 3.2 million trees in just 1 hour. I talked about one of those being broken in India a while ago. Our boy Reed Clark shared with us that tigers in India went from 1,411 tigers in 2006 to be constantly increasing, and now there are 2,967 tigers in India as of 2018. So those numbers are growing, and who doesn't like a beautiful creature like that? Another dope topic, all about helping the environment. 350 million trees were planted in one day in Ethiopia. So I'm glad more and more people are starting to realize that the only way we can save the world is by helping it basically grow again, you know? And those are just some of the stories that I didn't get a chance to sort through all of them. I got to do a little more research, but I just want to get back into the groove of things, to our regular scheduled program as usual. And that's all I have for today. So keep writing. Keep writing and keep sharing all the good news with me so I can share it with those who tune in. I hope this starts your day or week off on a positive note, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have anything you'd like to share and want to get in contact with me, I can be found on Instagram or Facebook at Limelight Highlight, or you can email me the old-fashioned way at limelighthighlight@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to leave a rating and review on whatever platform it is you're listening on, and share, subscribe, spread the word, because everyone needs some good news in their lives. Remember, August 24th, we have the Block to School Drive, and September 15th, Babes Who Brunch. Be there, get involved. Until next time, be humble, be helpful, pay it forward, and be the best you can be. I'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.